What is up, Fanatics? It is 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of Home Theater Fanatics Live. Tonight is episode 134, and we have a great episode for you. Joining us tonight is John Durda from MoFi Distribution. And let me just tell you, I've wanted to call you guys MoFo Distribution so many times.
Some of our guys have that title.
It is MoFi Distribution because I is that just short for more fidelity?
Mobile fidelity, but you nailed the pronunciation of both my name and the company. So
right on. I'm glad that I'm getting some things right at the beginning of the episode, as that it will cover when I get them wrong later. But welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Had a good day today. How about you?
You know, my day just gets better and better. And I woke up this morning, I thought to myself, okay, today's stream day. Who's going to be the guest? And I was like, oh, it's John. And my day has been so cheery since. I mean, just the anticipation. And I mean, no, I kid, but I'm also serious because you guys, I mean, you're cool, right? Everybody likes John, and you're an awesome dude, and you have a awesome voice, which I really respect. But beyond you, the brands that MoFi represents are outstanding, and we've got several things lined up here to talk about tonight. But there are also going to be a lot of pieces that we don't touch on that I really like, like solid steel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's not anything crazy. It's just furniture and stands, but it's really good. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, let's start with you. So maybe you can tell everybody a little bit about who you are and how you fit into this larger picture.
Well, first, I'd like to say thanks for that great introduction, and I would love if you just called me every morning with that same kind of positive attitude and that little boost to go along with my coffee. That was very nice. Thank you.
Be wary what you wish for.
A little bit about me.
You're going to be like, no, stop. Don't do it anymore.
I just had like a flash forward of what my life would be like if that actually happened.
It could be pretty horrible.
So, MoFi, Mobile Fidelity, MoFi Distribution, we're a sister company to Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. So that's the name that we adopted. And we started this distribution company, a colleague and I, Norbert Schmid, and Jim Davis, who owns Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab and Music Direct and Balanced Audio Technology. He's kind of a serial entrepreneur. We started MoFi Distribution and really used the MoFi name because I love MoFi. Ever since I was a kid, my dad had MoFi records, and they always stood out to me as something special. So working for Mobile Fidelity, even just as a sister company, is kind of a very cool, unique, surreal experience in part of my career. You touched on it. We import and distribute and own a variety of brands. We have about 20 brands in the MoFi Distribution portfolio. Solid Steel being a great one from Italy, great family-owned company. We import those products from Pescara, Italy. We have Koetsu phono cartridges, beautiful little handcrafted phono cartridges from Japan. Wharfedale loudspeakers, that's one of our bigger brands from the UK. So we're kind of all over the place. We just love audio, and every year we start the year saying, you know what, no more new brands. But without fail, we add at least one just about every year. For the last 7, we've been doing this.
Right on. Just a couple to call out, because I don't want, these folks to feel left out, because these are a couple that I really like. And correct me if I get the pronunciation wrong, but Piega is pretty awesome. And then Manger, if I'm saying that.
You're doing great, Manger.
I mean, that's exactly right. I saw those folks at a show maybe 2 years ago. I think it was Rocky Mountain Audio Fest. Rest in peace. And it was they just stunned me anyway. And when I discovered that they were part of your portfolio, I was like, oh, I'm glad they found a really nice home for distribution here.
Yeah, I mean, Daniela Manger, what a great person. Took over the company from her father, who patented this bending wave driver technology, a totally unique driver. Beautiful Bauhaus School of Design products, all made in Germany. Really special, very unique. It's definitely for a music lover. It's a music lover loudspeaker, but it's very precise. Piega, another family-owned company. We tend to deal with smaller independent companies
Hmm.
at MoFi. From Switzerland, two good friends started the company. Now their kids are running it. They make these ribbon drivers in-house in Switzerland. They have a beautiful factory right on the lake. Really stunning product. And there's a through line with all of the brands that we represent, just about all of the brands, with Manger, with Quad, with the famous electrostatic loudspeaker, another line we do, with Piega. They all have great impulse response. They're all very phase coherent, which is something that doesn't get talked about a lot in loudspeaker design, but it all has to do with timing and how those drivers integrate. And it's very different than your typical kind of metal dome tweeter mid-range bass driver configuration.
They are very special.
You could say we have a type. We have a type when it comes to loudspeakers.
That's funny. Oh, and I think maybe you have a new type. And correct me if I'm wrong. And this is going to be our segue into, I think our first large discussion point, which is a new brand. At least it's new here. Maybe it's not so new in other places, but HiFi Rose. And when I had an opportunity to first look at their gear, it's almost a year ago now, I would guess. I was absolutely stunned and blown away. As they say, I was not prepared because I really wasn't. Because this brand has melded technology and high fidelity in a way that I really had not seen done before. I've seen like bits and pieces of everything that it has done in different places, but never put together into a package the way that they deliver it, right? And then again, I found out later that you guys had become associated with them, which is a marriage made in heaven, I so say, which is really nice. But you guys are now distributing HiFi Rose here in the United States, correct?
We are, and I would be remiss to say you didn't have some influence on that. Seeing your interview with Mike and the folks from HiFi Rose was a data point for us as we were kind of in our information gathering stage. There was another YouTuber who did a review as well, kind of early before they launched in the U.S., and all these things kind of sparked my interest. MoFi has been looking for a good streaming solution for 5 out of the 7 years we've been here. We're a very analog and speaker focused distributor, and we've just been kind of waiting for the right full featured streamer. And those are so rare. There's 3 things that a good streamer needs to be. It's got to sound good. It has to have a good user interface. And almost as importantly as the other 2, it's got to be reliable. And usually companies can do one of those 3 things. Not a lot of companies can do all 3. Hit that trifecta. And we felt like, wow, HiFi Rose has that potential. And seeing your positive review, getting some samples, having a very similar experience, we're really excited about the brand. I think it's going to be a big brand for MoFi, but more importantly, it brings something new to the table for customers, a great new option to get their streaming music.
Yeah, and when if people go back and watch the review that I did, and Jay did a really good review as well back on his channel. I think he was in BT back then, but now he's under his name Jay. The device itself is gorgeous. Physically, it's beautiful. It sounds wonderful. It brings all of the chops that you need from an audiophile perspective, but it also integrates video, which is crazy, right? Am I wrong to think it's crazy? But it's awesome.
There's a couple features with HiFi Rose. It's like, wow, why didn't anyone else think of this? Because once you have it in your system, you can't imagine life without it. You're right. The video aspect is awesome, and that's getting as much use as all the other functions, at least at our house.
Yeah, so for me, at the time when I was first introduced to the brand, I was looking for something that I could use in my living room, right? And I wanted to be able to still use a television, right? Because I wanted to watch TV, but the space was mostly 2-channel, and I didn't want to get an AVR, and I didn't want to buy all these things, right? And this really fill that niche for me because you can use it to play files. I mean, you can point it toward a network share and play a video file if you want to. It's not a streamer in the sense that a NVIDIA Shield is a streamer for Netflix and those kinds of things. However, it is a streamer in the sense of Qobuz and TIDAL and those kinds of things, right? And that's what was getting the most rotation. But I still had that desire to be able to get an HDMI cable plugged into the back of this thing and listen to my television or movie in the 2-channel system, and listen to that type of source material in a way that I don't think is commonly done. Because, when you listen to some shows, some movies in a very high resolution 2-channel environment, it really changes that experience. And this tool allows you to do that. And it's not something you commonly see out there.
Yeah, it's funny. Talking to Sean, who you met, his inspiration was almost purely around Sean from HiFi Rose, for the audience. His inspiration was almost purely around classical music, and I just love how simple he put it. Sometimes you want to close your eyes and imagine you're seeing the performance, but other times you want to have your eyes open and actually see the performance.
Right.
And that's what the HiFi Rose offers. And if you go to their app, the RoseTube app, which basically is a YouTube API, they have all these curated classical performances, which are fantastic. A lot of them in 1080p or 4K. They sound really great. And it does add a new layer of entertainment to that hi-fi experience I think a lot of people are missing out on. On the flip side, my old mentor and partner from Peachtree used to call non-audiophile civilians. And the way civilians listen to music is on YouTube. A lot of folks. I love Qobuz. I love TIDAL.
I do too.
Yeah, but so many people listen to music on YouTube. And if you can add the video aspect to that in a high-performance 2-channel system, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so I'll have my boys. So I've got 2 children. They're 12 and 10, and they spend more time on YouTube than I probably would care to have them spend time there, though. But that's really been a replace for them for, when I was a child, the traditional television viewing, right? So, we limit their time and they can choose what screen they want to watch, and they could watch television if they wanted to, but, almost 100% of the time they would prefer to go to YouTube and watch content that's there. And it's interesting because we can watch that YouTube content through the HiFi Rose. And for me, I get to hear this stuff in a way that I might not be able to otherwise. But from their point of view, that's the only way they know how to articulate how to listen to the music, because they don't come and say, "Hey, Dad, can you pull up this album so-and-so by this artist from this year and then listen to track number 3 or what?" They're like, "Oh, there was this video I saw. It had this great song and it's about munchkins with horses and they're magical and they fly around in the magic land." Right. And I'm like,
yeah.
And you can search for that and find it and then you watch it, but there's no other way to really find that content. And being able to have an audiophile experience with that content, it's kind of cool.
It's fun for the whole family.
Absolutely.
I think our kids need to get together. My 7-year-old does the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. He's obsessed with Godzilla right now.
Oh, awesome.
And all these content creators have mashed together music with Godzilla videos, and he'll just watch that for like an hour if we let him. And he ends up hearing it through an RS-150B HiFi Rose DAC and a big pair of Piega line source ribbons.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Everybody enjoys it.
That's cool. I want to dig in a little bit more into the HiFi Rose because I think the specification of the device is a streaming preamp, right? So this device has about every input that I could ever hope to have on there. I guess maybe that doesn't have a dedicated phono stage, but I don't know that anybody would want their phono stage integrated into a piece of equipment anyway. But if this device can't stream it itself, it has all the connectivity that it would ever need to be able to stream from whatever device anybody wanted to, or a tape deck or a record player or whatever it might be. And so that's kind of cool that this device is your streamer, but it can also perform that role of preamp, and it comes with a remote control. You control volume and all that stuff and select your source. And then the app is also very nice, but you can also install a hard drive inside of this box, and it can be a music server as well.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it's it is the Swiss Army knife of,
Well,
of devices.
as you said in your review of it, there's too much to cover. Like you can't shoot a 20-minute video and cover everything that this thing does. So you're always finding new layers of functionality to it, whether it's a built-in hard drive or a USB hard drive or a NAS. It has a micro SD input. It's just so much functionality. And already we've just sent a few samples out into the field, and we're getting questions on things that we've never even thought of. And HiFi Rose is like, oh yeah, we can add that in the next firmware update. So even more is coming, more capable, and you've probably already seen it on yours. There's always more iteration just through firmware, more features coming, more improvements, and these are free improvements and added functionality. It's just cool. It's cool to have something that's merges great sound with kind of a smartphone interface that works.
Yep. I think maybe my last comment about the device is, and I said this in the review video, but, for me, two-channel listening has always been kind of a tenuous relationship, amongst myself, the music, and the technology that I listen to the music on, because I've never felt that I found exactly the perfect mix. What is the perfect speaker? I think I'm pretty close, but I don't know if I'm there or not. What's the perfect source? What's the perfect way to manage the music? And over time, things has changed, right? They've changed. It used to be record players, and you had 8-track and cassette tape and CDs and that kind of thing. But today, finally, we have streaming, which is at a high enough resolution that I can't tell the difference anymore, right? Sounds good to me. And that allows me to have access to music in a way that I've never had access before, meaning that if I want to listen to something, more often than not, I will be able to sit down and listen to something I want to hear. And I don't have to order a piece of media. I don't have to wait. It's just instant gratification at the quality level that I want. And there are a lot of devices that do that. But when I sat in front of the HiFi Rose, I felt like it was meeting me in the space that I wanted to be in to experience the music. It brought that level of technology. I can take this HiFi Rose and I can use it with ROON, use it as a ROON target, have all of the intelligence that's built into ROON, stream and use that to control this device, send the music in. It does its thing, sends it out to the amplification and all of the speakers. And it's, I don't know, it was a magical event for me because I felt very comfortable with that setup, and it gave me all of the bells and whistles and switches that I needed on the content side, along with the fidelity on the reproduction side. And that's the closest I've come so far to that magical, perfect environment that probably doesn't exist, but this is as close as I've been.
That's, so very well said. That's like poetry.
Or something, as my wife says. She's like, or something.
Yeah, or something.
It's like poetry, or something.
No, that was beautifully said, and I agree. I replaced a mega DAC with my HiFi Rose, and I'm an analog guy at heart. Like if you put me on a desert island, I want a turntable and a tube amp, right? Like that's my jam. But I've never been so satisfied with digital where it's almost got me questioning that. Like, man, with a Cobus subscription and a RS-150B, I could be pretty happy on that island too.
Right. Stay strong, man. I mean, the allure of the digital streaming is strong, but I think this is a great segue into an analog topic, because there's a new device that you guys are releasing that it's right in your zone, right?
Are you talking about the collaboration that MoFi just announced today?
The turntable?
The turntable?
Yeah.
Should we show it to people?
Please do, because
up a deck here and show
because
it to folks.
I know almost nothing about it myself.
Sure.
So this is new news to me, other than it exists, because this is exciting. I've been trying to cut my teeth into analog, and I've not found the right way to do it. So any of these new things that come along, I'm always very interested in. All right, so I'm gonna as soon as your screen share looks good, I'll pop it in. Oh, there we go. There we are. Look at that. Two big old brands right there.
Two very, very
Big old
cool
brands.
brands.
That's the
Yeah.
technical name. Big old brands.
Big old brands, one way bigger than the other. But man, we're very honored to work with Fender on this collaboration that we just announced this morning. So Fender is celebrating their 75-year anniversary. Folks that are fans of the brand have probably seen some limited edition guitars and basses that they've come out to celebrate with. And about, it's been almost a year ago, they reached out through a dealer. I got to give a shout out to Audio Element in Pasadena, California, who kind of made the introduction between Fender and MoFi. And Fender showed interest in wanting to build a turntable to celebrate this anniversary. And what we learned by talking to them is that Leo Fender in 1945 actually had designed a turntable before starting Fender Electric in 1946. Wow. So you can see his name down there on the patent drawing. So there's a real authenticity to why Fender wanted a turntable that calls back on their own history. Now, when we discuss this, our team in Ann Arbor, Michigan, for folks that aren't familiar with MoFi Electronics, we have our factory in Ann Arbor where we build these turntables. We've been making turntables now there for about 5 years. When they talked to Fender, they wanted something American-made with real Fender DNA. So right away we knew this wasn't going to be like some simple, hey, throw a Fender badge and a logo on there and you'll be good to go. So they made a number of prototypes with the Fender Custom Shop out there in California. And where they landed was using the swamp ash body of a P bass or precision bass to build the platform for the turntable. And this is what we ended up with. Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding. I mean, that's gorgeous. Why do I feel like I'm looking at ZZ Top though? I don't know why. That maybe it's the colors. That's stunning.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it just speak for itself, and it does it so well. That's the Fender signature, 3-color burst finish on the swamp ash body. It's definitely the best looking turntable we've ever made. That's just no question about it.
I might take that a step further. And, as I said before, I'm not the world's biggest connoisseur of turntables, but I don't know that I've seen another turntable in this form factor that I think looks better than this. I really don't.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I hear you. It's special. It is definitely special. And, you look at this body, all the credit goes to Fender. They actually mill the ash body. They do their own finish, and then they ship that plinth to us at Ann Arbor, where we add in our ingredients. So we're using what we call our ultra level platform from our Ultra Deck, which is a pretty award-winning, very good turntable. We're using the same tone arm, which is wired with Cardis copper wiring. We're using our thickest Delrin platter and our strongest hardened steel bearing and our Hurst 300 RPM motor. So it's got all of the legit turntable components. It's not just a pretty face. And then from the side profile along the bottom, you can see these feet that it rests on. These are developed by a company called Harmonic Resolution Systems, or HRS. Mm-hmm. And these are custom tuned suspended feet that will eliminate resonance, not just from footfalls. You hear horror stories of old turntables where you couldn't start dancing in the room, otherwise the needle skips. That's not going to be a problem with this turntable. It also eliminates micro vibrations. And what you can see, there's a special bracing system and little cutout chambers that we put on the bottom of the turntable to reduce the resonance of the ash. So, we wanted the look of the ash body, but we don't want it to resonate. That's not what you want with a good turntable. So HRS and the MoFi team worked really hard to get rid of those resonances. Resonances? Resonance.
Resonai.
What time is it? Words are hard. To make this thing sound as pure and clear as possible. So it's again, not just a pretty face. There's a lot of technology inside of the turntable to make it a real performer.
Yeah, a lot of positive comments coming from the audience today. Yeah, I think everybody agrees that this is something a little bit different.
It's something different for us too. So on this back view, you're seeing it's a limited edition. Fender, this being an anniversary model, they said, guys, this needs to be limited. It can't just be a production model. So we're only building 1,000 of them, and that's for the whole world. And already today, if we're not sold out, we'll probably be sold out by tomorrow. The response has just been incredible, and I don't know if it's just collectors. Certainly, a lot of audiophiles have reached out that want it. But like I said, it speaks for itself. The last thing people should know is how much it costs. It's not a cheap product by any means, but we do strive at MoFi to make things attainable. There's a lot of unobtainium out there. That's not the MoFi customer. That's not the MoFi brand.
Okay, let's play a little game.
Yeah.
Let's play. How much does it cost? I don't. It's kind of difficult to get the comments back in a timely fashion for this. But everybody out there is listening. Think in your head what this is going to cost, and I'm going to call out what I think it costs, and then we'll see what it really costs, and we'll see what the disconnect is between my mind, at least, and maybe everybody else's mind, and the reality that is this pretty stunning piece of equipment. I'm going to go $7,000.
All right. Who's going to bid $7,001? It's so
remember,
funny.
If you go over, you lose.
It's so funny you're doing this because just this week we had somebody from The Price is Right contact us about a MoFi turntable as a prize.
No way.
Yeah.
That is okay. When The Price is Right reaches out to you, you've made
You've made it. Right.
Yeah. I'm hoping that one day The Price is Right reaches out to me and they're like, "Hey, can we come on your show?" Because I would have them in a heartbeat.
Yeah. For me, all I think about is Happy Gilmore when I think about The Price is Right.
Oh, so how poorly did I do?
You're not too bad. You would actually be able to buy 2 of them for $7,000.
Wow.
So
Okay, I'm way off then.
$34.95 U.S. American sawbucks, limited to 1,000 units. We are starting production now, and what folks should know is due to just how hard it is to make these the way we want to make them, we're only building about 20 per week. So it's going to take a while for us to get to 1,000. So this is a serious pre-order situation, but folks know it's going to take a while, and I think the wait, I hope people find the wait is worth it once they get them into their homes.
Well, it's absolutely stunning, and if the performance is as good as the looks, and you can't judge everything by its cover, but man, it's got a nice little cover on it. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my audio gear has to look good too. Like the sound comes first, but it's got to look good.
Okay, so this is kind of a point of contention that I have with some folks, right? And I see this become more applicable to the conversation as the cost of equipment goes up and up. And I guess my point being is that I agree with you 100%. I want my equipment to function well, but I also have a desire for it to have a certain level of aesthetic chops, however you want to think about it, right? And if you go back to the HiFi Rose, it's stunning. It looks like high technology, and it sounds like opera. I mean, it's this really nice match of form and function, and this turntable is the same thing, right? It looks gorgeous, and if it's putting out the right sound, then holy smokes! I mean, the value for the money in my mind just goes higher and higher. And judging by my guess, I would say, it's worth it at twice the price.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Yeah, maybe there'll be another one someday.
Hopefully.
Deck. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be super cool. And talking about ultimate things, let's move on to our next topic of conversation here, which is one that I really like, and that's Wharfedale. And if folks don't know, they should know, because Wharfedale makes an excellent range of loudspeakers. And I think you wanted to talk specifically about the Legion 1 and C, correct?
Yeah, just because these are the newest products in the Wharfedale family, and I think just due to how things panned out in 2020 and 2021, we didn't have trade shows. We weren't able to do a proper launch of this series. But we have had good success with it. Wharfedale launched a new series called Elysian, which is a no-holds-barred flagship range, literally the best loudspeakers Wharfedale has ever produced. And that's saying something considering the company's been in business for over 85 years. So there's a long history to tie into. But Peter Como and the design team at Wharfedale just took this challenge of we want to build a proper flagship, and that's what the Elysian series is. And here, if we do another screen share, I'll just show folks really quickly what we're talking about.
Yeah, because I'm familiar with the Elysian 4 and 2. And the 2 is a bookshelf and the 4 is a tower. But I'm not familiar with these two models.
Are you seeing that okay on your end?
Yep, we got it. Yep. I see something that looks like maybe a ribbon or a AMT.
Yep. So, this is kind of an interesting departure for Wharfedale. They've been known traditionally for soft dome tweeters specifically. Wharfedale has that kind of signature British mid-range focused, but very smooth top end, kind of warm under damped bass that just kind of, it's like putting a blanket over you. It's just kind of beautiful and comfortable and very easy to listen to. For their top range, Peter, who's kind of the chief steward of technical design, said, you know what, we need to go beyond the technical limitations of a dome tweeter. And they decided AMT is the right way to go. And to be quite frank, that kind of made me nervous at first, because my experience with AMTs going back to the old days is that they can really rip your head off if done wrong. And that's just not the Wharfedale sound. I should have known better. Peter's got such a good track record when it comes to designing speakers. He just really should have our trust. And they've nailed the balance on these things. They're very fast, resolving, detailed but not bright, not analytical, not lean, just kind of a bit more air and sparkle than what the soft dome tweeters provide, but still very smooth. And it's hard to tell from this picture, but this is a 7-inch driver here. So if that's 7 inches, that is a big AMT. That's way bigger than the standard off-the-shelf AMT.
What, 5 inches maybe? Yeah, that's massive.
4 or 5 inches tall for the AMT. And this beautiful piano walnut finish too is just a real stunner.
Yeah, the cabinet screams Wharfedale to me though. That's classic styling, and it's timeless. It's gorgeous. But yeah, that AMT, air motion transformer, that's cool.
Yeah, it just gives you you a bit more of that harmonic structure on the top end that I think draws people in. And you've got your signature downfiring port, so making room placement very easy. You pointed out the curved cabinets, which is a rarity nowadays just due to the complexity and cost of tooling when it comes to curved cabinets, and Wharfedale is committed to that. Now, from Elysian, all the new Evo 4 series, which is a great, more affordable product from Wharfedale, uses trickle-down technology from Elysian. But these new Elysian 1 bookshelves, or stand mounts is really what we should call them, are the newest addition to the family. And these will start shipping this fall, and they'll retail for $49.95 a pair.
Yeah, is that inclusive of the stands?
Another $500 for the stand, so $54.95 with stands would be the.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, the stands are very attractive. They're very handsome.
Yeah, they do a great job with stands too. And what makes Wharfedale unique in the world of speakers is that they do all this stuff in house. Now, what most people probably don't know is that some of these very big name brands, they don't build speakers. They're actually farmed out to a third-party company, but Wharfedale is virtually completely vertically integrated. They make their own cabinets, their own drivers. They make the screws that hold the drivers in the cabinets. Like, they're making screws.
Okay, that's very interesting. I wonder if Wharfedale and Piega sat down and said, "Wharfedale, let's make a new speaker for you. Here's an idea." Is that
would
crazy?
Be an interesting collaboration that we'll probably never see in our lifetime. But,
probably not.
Yeah, what would that look like? It would probably look a little bit like this, quite honestly.
That's what I mean. It looks like that. This would be that love child of Piega and Wharfedale.
Yeah. So for folks that don't know Piega, the name Piega, it means folded, which an AMT driver, the way it's constructed, it's kind of like a folded ribbon style driver. So Piega is famous for their ribbons and AMT drivers. They use curved cabinets. Now, one big differentiating factor between Piega and Wharfedale is Piega's cabinets are all aluminum. So they've taken an Elysian 4 tower and just shrunk it a little bit, put it on its side. So you've got a big 3-way speaker for your center here in the Elysian family.
Yeah, no, that's gorgeous. And you're absolutely right. When you get into multi-channel world, the predominant speaker used for reproduction of your vocals will be the center channel. And that is the one place that you do not want to skimp at all, ever. So that's outstanding. That's outstanding. All right. I think now it's time to move to the second section of our show. That's right. People have questions and we've got answers. And today, John is going to tell us all about something near and dear to his heart. And the question we're going to answer is, how can video enhance a 2-channel music first system? Tell me that, John. Riddle me that. How is it possible? Because I don't believe it.
I think we kind of gave away the plot earlier, didn't we?
I think it's impossible. Sell me on this concept.
Yeah. This is like a Tarantino movie. We already started at the end. And now we're looping back.
That's right.
How is it possible? It's what we were talking about earlier with music videos, with YouTube content, with classical performances. Certainly with movies. I mean, movies in 2-channel. My kids and I, we just watched the original Jurassic Park a couple of nights ago.
Oh, nice.
Which is a perennial favorite of ours. And in 2-channel with 2 big Piega loudspeakers, it was an amazing experience. I didn't feel like I was missing anything, not having surround sound. So it's your typical thing: good speakers, good amplifier, combined with a good video source. That works. But to me, the magic and what HiFi Roses brought home is music content, music video content. So with YouTube, the dirty little secret in our house, even though we have all this great audio equipment, is my wife predominantly listens to YouTube music just through the speakers built into her phone, right? It's like the shame of the Dirt household, but it's convenient. And you know what? How many friends and family do we all have that do the exact same thing because it's convenient and it's easy and they know how to use it?
Yeah, for us, it's the iPad. So my wife and my children are on their iPads all the time listening to music. And the boys have taken to listening to their iPad through their AirPods and AirPod Pros. And I'm like, no, children, let me show you the way.
Oh, it's better than the built-in speaker. I'll give them points for effort there.
Sure.
So what HiFi Rose has done by having RoseTube or YouTube built in, it's just unlocked all this great content. So if you're watching, live concerts through KEXP Seattle or, NPR Tiny Desk is one of our favorites.
Oh, it's a great one. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's so good. And when you play that through a HiFi Rose or a streamer just with a good DAC, this isn't just about pitching our wares. Like if you have an Apple TV or a smart TV, hook that up to a good DAC and see what that can do. It elevates the experience so much. And you know what? Sometimes seeing the performers gives you a new level of appreciation for the art. Seeing those guys play together, watching like the Punch Brothers play together. They're musical virtuosos. They're amazing, and you can't really appreciate it fully till you see them do it with your own eyes. So why don't we switch cameras, and what we can do is show and not just tell. I'm going to switch to my B camera here.
Fancy.
We've had to up our virtual game here, us old school audio guys.
Look how beautiful that device is. I mean, you can't tell me that someone, when they see that for the first time, doesn't go, ooh. And, it's funny, the step up model from this actually doesn't have that little button on the right-hand side, but I really like it. The joystick.
Yeah, this one's our little...
Yeah, I love that.
Joystick volume control, yeah. So this is the RS201E. This is an integrated amp. This is currently sitting on my desk, literally like right next to my computer here, powering a pair of Falcon MoFi Edition LS35A BBC monitors, and then a little subwoofer under the desk as well. So it's just it's hard to get work done having this thing on my desk. Absolutely. I'll tell you that much. I'm not super productive having this thing here. But it's a lot of fun. So you have your Qobuz, your TIDAL for people that, have all their subscriptions, local music, video. I've been getting a lot of use out of the internet radio functionality lately. podcasts. I mean, all kinds of things that you can play with. But what I want to show people is, RoseTube is a great one to look at. So hopefully this loads up quickly, even though we're live streaming and using up all my bandwidth. That was pretty quick. So what you start off with are some curated videos from HiFi Rose. And I'm just going to skip ahead here and go to one of my playlists. And I'm not ashamed that people just saw I have Taylor Swift on one of my playlists.
Hey, I love Tay Tay. She's amazing. And
I don't know her well enough to call her Tay Tay, but I like that.
We go way back,
Yeah.
I grew up in Alabama, so the country music still has some pull for me. Although she's not really country anymore.
She is definitely not country anymore, but her country stuff is great. If we could ever put that on a MoFi record, that would be awesome one day.
Ooh, that would be outstanding. She just redid all her masters.
I heard that for various reasons. Yeah, yeah. So I've got some favorites here. This one, I'm not going to play for this, but I encourage everyone to check out Hart doing Stairway to Heaven for the Led Zeppelin tribute. Amazing, amazing performance. It had the guys from Led Zeppelin in tears watching this. Oh, and awesome. This was the video that kind of clinched the whole having video in my hi-fi concept for me. I played this early one morning, having coffee. My wife comes out, sees it, and it was like gravity. Pulled her to the couch, sat down, and she's like, turn it up. It's like 6 a.m.
That's great.
Right? Turn up, let's get the lead out at 6 a.m. watching Hart perform this. And we're both there, and you could see the hairs on my arm standing up. She's getting goosebumps. And it was just incredible. It's one of those great moments I'll hopefully never forget of me and my wife appreciating a killer performance on a great hi-fi system. And if we didn't see these guys watch the performance, the emotional impact would have been way diminished. So that to me convinced me, like, that's why you need video. I don't use it all the time. I still listen to just Kobas and LPs. But man, this is a whole new layer so many folks miss out on. So why don't we just cue something up that shouldn't flag any copyrights or anything like that.
Sure,
this is going to be a Bach cello suite here, and we'll just see what this is all about. So when you start off, it can actually play right on the screen of the HiFi Rose.
And so people understand what's happening here. So this is playing back through your monitors, and this is being picked up by your binaural microphones.
That's right. I'm wearing a pair of binaural Sonic Presence mics right now, so if you're wearing headphones especially, hopefully the audio quality is good for you folks.
It's very good.
All right, so now, I mean, this is cool, and the sound's great, but really you want to have that big screen experience, so we switch cameras again. So I've just got a little 100-inch screen behind me. I'll gotta get out of the way. Just a little one.
Are you doing a UST projector or an overhead projector?
This is an overhead projector, yep. So it's just, I don't know, so cool to be able to see that level of performance on the big screen with great sound, even just in 2-channel. I think it brings something to the experience that stereo alone doesn't quite provide. And HiFi Rose, their kind of foresight of putting in RoseTube, which I don't want to say was an afterthought, but it's kind of the cherry on top. It's a great music streamer. It does Kobas really well. It does your local music library really well. DSD, 32384, all the stuff that you might want. MQA. But I'm getting
I have
so
to
much
comment
joy
that
out of video.
I saw the wrong faces there, unfortunately. The Audiophiliac was there. Darko was there.
You're there.
But I didn't see the.
No. I did not want to make that faux pas.
I didn't want to.
You can believe me. Right? Boom.
Oh,
boom.
Look at that! So
come on.
There we go.
Come on. Yeah. Lots of cool guys up here.
Lots of cool guys. I
like
get along with that.
All of these. Yeah. I like all these folks here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, man. Yeah. It's like the Mount Rushmore of YouTube.
I actually requested from HiFi Rose a year ago that for all of their new product that they default, a link to my content, on the front screen of their device. I don't think that made it through the quality assurance or whatever design process that they have, but I did make the request, and the boy can dream.
There's always the firmware update, and OS 3.9 coming out. You never know what's going to happen. When's your birthday?
It was 6 days. Well, 7 days ago on the 14th.
Happy belated birthday.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. One last thing I want to call out about the 2-channel plus video experience. And, I believe this all functions appropriately, but you can use any of the HiFi Rose devices with an eARC connection or some other type of connection from a television. So, if you have a smart TV and you use that to stream your video content for Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max or whatever it might be, you can enjoy those pieces of content in high precision quality sound output by this device, which is outstanding. I mean, if you're going to watch TV, this is how you want to do it in 2-channel.
I mean, you could get a sound bar.
You could, but if you can get a set of Piega towers, that's the way to go, man, for sure. It's funny. We've got so many mixed media rooms. For me, my living room's a music first room. I'm not blessed to have like a home theater room and a music room and all of that. That's fine. We just play music out in the living room, so the whole family has to enjoy it or not. But that's exactly how we use ours. We have a HDMI out of the Samsung Frame TV into the RS-150B eARC input, which is so cool. My 5-year-old daughter can use the Samsung TV remote to control the volume because eARC just integrates perfectly. Yep.
And you're right, it sounds amazing. Yeah. It's a fantastic. Now, that's only on the 150B. You'd have to settle for an optical connection on the 2 other HiFi Rose models, but eARC's killer. Great feature.
Yeah, absolutely. John, I think our time has run out on us, but I want to give you my most sincere thanks for joining me on the show tonight. Everybody's time is precious, and you chose to spend a little bit of time with me and everyone that's watching. So thank you so much for that. And even beyond that, the information that you've shared with us, I think is game changing for a number of people that will see this. So thank you so much.
I really appreciate you having me. This is a lot of fun. Thank you.
Right on. So everybody, if you're interested in this technology, I'm going to put a number of links down in the notes for this video. So just you can catch this at YouTube, which you might be watching now. However, you might be watching this on a number of Facebook pages as well. But if you come to the YouTube version, I will have links to all of the assorted websites so you can check this technology out for yourselves. Now, if people get the itch and they just have to have this technology, what is the right avenue that they pursue to figure out how to purchase this for themselves?
I would encourage them to visit MoFiDistribution.com, where you can see links to all the brands that we represent to get more information. And there's also a great Find a Dealer button there. So if you type in your zip code, you want to see where your nearest MoFi Distribution authorized dealer is, select your brand, punch that in, and hopefully you can find a local shop that can teach you even more.
That's awesome. All right, sir. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again one of these days, not too far in the future on the show again. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Charles.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, folks. This takes us to our final segment of the night. I got to get different music, don't I? But in the absence of new music, it's time for Content Corner. That's where we talk about all this cool content that we'd like to listen on HiFi Rose streamers or whatever piece of equipment that you might have in your home. And today I want to talk about reminiscence. The reason I want to talk about reminiscence is because it's got one of my favorites, and his name is Hugh Jackman. I've had a man crush on Hugh Jackman for quite a while now. He is such a superlative actor, singer, dancer, bodybuilder. I mean, this guy's got it going on, and this is the most recent movie I've seen that he's starred in, and it's kind of an interesting movie because it tells this story of mystery set in a future kind of quasi post-apocalyptic world where they have some advanced technology, but it's not like spaceships and aliens. But they have some cool stuff. But the world is it's kind of been shattered by ecological damage, and down in Miami everything's flooded, and the buildings are half covered, and people get around in boats and that kind of stuff. But it tells a mystery. Then you have to follow along this whole movie to kind of put all the pieces together, and then at the end see the full picture. So I just wanted to call that one out as something that you might want to check out if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It takes a little while for the story to play out. It's not paced super fast, but I really enjoyed it. And both leads there are very good, and I would strongly recommend checking that out if you get a chance to. And there's another show that I wanted to call out as well before we part ways today, and I'm forgetting the name of it. I should have wrote my notes a little bit better, but it's the new Dan Brown television show. And let me Google for it real quick. The Lost Symbol. So it's based on Dan Brown world, and the lead character is Robert Langdon, a la Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code, Inferno or Origin, and all of the other books. But he is now on the small screen, and he's going to be solving a mystery which looks to be super juicy. So I'm very excited for that one. I've watched the first episode there, and I'd like to recommend that out to everyone that's on as well. So a few hellos. Mymel, hello. Glad to have you on the show tonight. HiFi Haven's with us. Just Tony. Herman's with us from overseas again. Thank you so much. Kevin joined a little while back. What's up, internet people? Glad to have Kevin on the show. A new gentleman, Gans Mercedes-Benz. I don't think I have met you before, but welcome to the show. Glad you're here. There's so many. It just scrolls off the screen. And the most recent and the last comment was, Tony didn't need to see that RS-150. Thanks, Jonathan. The RS-150 is the model that I've got the most experience with, and it just is awesome. I think there's a RS-150B right now, which is the newest model, and I believe they changed DAX in that not too long ago. But man, such good gear. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and close the show. Thanks everybody for watching. Go check out the newest video that I dropped, which was a Zadoo video. So I reviewed the Zadoo media player, and before that a Zapedi media player. So if that kind of stuff floats your boat, go check those out. They're both great pieces of equipment, and I think you will enjoy them if you like to play files on your multi-channel system. So good night everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next week. And I think next week is Trenov. I think it's Trenov next week. So an exciting show there that I'm really looking forward to. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.